feel good.
Definitely very, very respectable win. I mean, they even just beat Providence, who's another really good team. So I think it just shows like how much we've come, and like it's like a huge win, especially to start the season off with such a good confidence booster too.
Now, do you remember the game from last year when you guys lost by about 17?
How can I forget?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
What was the difference, you think, today than in last year's game?
I think as a whole, as a team, we're a lot more prepared for them. And this year, we all had the mindset, you know, we're not taking losses for an answer anymore. We're not just going to settle for average. So we came out ready to go and got that W.
Yeah, add on to that, I feel like we're a lot more in sync with each other. We obviously are, that was our first year with Coach, and now we've got our system down. We've played with each other for a year, got it all under our belts.
Well, at least some of you have.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, but...
Right.
Yeah.
For the majority of us.
Now, were you aware that they had come back from 18 points behind against Providence? And did you feel the footsteps a little bit in that second half when they came back and tied it?
Yeah, I mean, we felt it a little bit. I mean, once this week when we were going over scout and we heard that they came back from 18, that told me, like, these guys have a lot of heart. So when they came into our gym and, they started creeping back a little bit, I was like, that's not going to happen to us because we have a lot more heart than they do. I know that for a fact, so.
I mean, every team's going to make their runs.
Yeah.
So it's just all about keeping your composure, and we kept our composure pretty well.
See, it's all about the first half. Your defense, of course, you had a 9-0 lead to help, but they only ended up with 20 points, I think, for the half. Was that your good defense, or were they just not making their shots, or what do you think?
Well, our coaches scouted them pretty well, so we knew what they were going to run. We knew where they were going to go. We know what they were looking for, so we were able to stop all their first looks, so they had to be able to rebound off of us stopping them.
Yeah, and I would say that, both of those as a reason why they didn't score, because our defense was good, and since our defense was good, it disrupted their shooters, so.
And this is not a knock on Jasmine, but she didn't have much of a scoring day today, and to be able to win, without that was that a good sign?
I mean, nobody's going to make all their shots. She's going to get double teamed. She's going to have a lot of people coming at her, so that's why there's 4 other people on the court to help her out. And she did other things for us. Like, she got bored. She was talking. She was playing defense. So it's not all about getting the points.
Right.
Exactly.
I was very impressed with C, as they call her. As you call her, and I think she was double digits and in rebounds and a bunch of assists. Can you guys talk about her, contribution?
Yeah, I mean, C's been working hard all summer. She's been ready to get her first, UMass game under her belt, so she's ready to go. And I think she played extremely well, this being her first game playing with all of us and learning the new system, because last year she had to sit out and just watch, the plays. So I think she did a phenomenal job coming out and getting everybody in order, running the plays, and being really vocal. So she did really well.
Megan, I guess you were 5 for 7, from 3-point range.
How many of those were assisted by me?
Probably all 5.
Let's see, it's got stars here. Shaq made all the passes.
See?
Yeah,
Thought so.
Actually.
5 threes, 5 6.
Yeah, did you make a lot of passes?
Hey, you got to. Got to share the ball.
Yeah. And Emily had a strong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Had a strong game. What's this tell you about the, as I think I mentioned this morning's paper, you're picked 10th, but people don't know a lot about your new players.
People are definitely not aware of what we had. They know last year that we were a team that could push everybody, but this year we are going to be the team that finishes it. So it's going to be interesting. They can say that we're 10th, but we'll see what happens when conference time comes.
Shakia just talked about also your free throws. Down the stretch, that was a huge. You did a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, I was rocky all game, but I made the ones I guess counted, so it is what it is. Can't go back.
Thank you.
Now, you look at you guys, you had a lot of success on the 3-point range, and you were able to stifle theirs. I mean, they only made 1 in the first half, and the 2 that they made were in the latter half of the second half. What was key to keeping them from making those shots?
It was just all about defense. We knew their plays. We knew that when they were going to want the screens and whatever. So it's just knowing their defense and finishing it on defense and talking to each other.
Now, also later on in the game, you guys were up by double digits multiple times, but then it looked like their defense made the right adjustments to stifle you guys, and they just got, a point, a couple of shots here, a couple of shots there, and all of a sudden, they're right behind you. What type of reads did they make on the defense or defensively to be able to keep you guys from doing the same offensive game that you had in the first half and for the first half of the second half?
Well, like Meg said earlier, every team goes on runs, so I think their best run was in the second half. But, I mean, I think what main teams need to do is close games out, and I think we close the game. So no matter if you go on a run multiple times, if we're up by 20, what matters is the end. If you close it, you win. So
They also switched their defenses from zone to man, so we got a little out of sync, so I would blame it on our offense. We were pressing too much, thinking too much, doing stupid things.
What did they do to you after you started getting all those threes? I noticed
That's when they'd stop doubling down off of me. They were shooting out on me, and the post player would be open. There's just, we have to make better reads.
Yeah.
Now, you look at last year, you look at tight games like that down the stretch where we get tied, you guys would sometimes kind of get nervous. Today it didn't look like that. You just were ice out there. What change in mentality was key to that, or what have you guys gone over to keep that?
I think it's just all of us being able to stay together and not get down on ourselves, and just like keeping each other together, letting everybody know like we're gonna be okay. This is what we're doing, and just staying calm.
Yeah, and I'd also say the starting five, we're a year older now too. So we're a lot more mature, and we know each other very well. So we know how to calm each other down, and then once we're all calm, we're good to go.
So you're very old and young.
Yeah, at the same time. Yeah.
At the same time.
We have experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys did a great job on that. That 44 is a pain in the rear end. Moran?
Yeah.
I see she was 2 for 12, and Alford was 2 for 15. And she's one of the stars of the league.
Yeah.
We were able to get it.
I feel good about that.
Yeah, sure.
Well, congratulations.
Awesome.
Well, I thought we definitely shut down their big three. Alfred is phenomenal, player of the year from America East. We know her pretty well, and she's just phenomenal. And I thought Emily was amazing today on her, held it at 2 for 15. And I felt like she never got a chance to get into her flow. Made one big shot that hurt a little bit, but all in all, Emily was just phenomenal today in that regard. And, Moran, number 44, is also right up there for phenomenal player. And C did a very good job on her, holding her 2 for 12, and 0 for 4 from 3. Now, against Providence on Friday night, Mo killed Providence from the three-point stripe. So the fact that we were able to contain her that well is great. And, we did a lot of talk about the big three, Alex Young being the third, going 1 for 5, 5 for 15, that was key. And again, great D, that was Meg, that was primarily on her all day. But those big three can just light it up. They're incredibly talented. That's why they're preseason second in the America East this year. But, of course, 22 did burn us with 16 rebounds. So that was problematic that we weren't doing a good enough job boxing out. But at the end of the game, we came up with 2 enormous rebounds to secure the win. So obviously, that you walk away from game 1, what do you need to improve on? And that question has been answered, and we'll start up on that Tuesday.
Yeah, it looked like your guards were getting a lot of your rebounds.
Yeah, well, Karen Land getting 10 boards. It's from your point guard. That's something else.
Yeah, that was terrific. Can you talk about her first game? She seemed to be pretty confident out there. Made a lot of good passes.
Yeah, I thought she did a great job.
But other than that.
Yeah, and she didn't appear to be nervous, but I can only imagine transferring and sitting out a year and anticipating this day for that long. I'm sure that there must have been a lot of anxiety, but she handled it very well. We saw glimpses of how she can get the ball down the floor very quickly, can get us into sets. When her shots start flowing for her, she's going to be a force. Just so many aspects of her game that will make her a very, very solid point for us.
And it must be a nice feeling to win too, without really getting a lot of points from Watson, today, at least offensively.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to get a win when Jazz struggles. So if we know we can pull it out with Jazz struggling, we're going to be that much better when Jazz wasn't struggling. But to her credit, she did bounce back and have a better second half. Maybe he doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but other things. Defensive, couple of deflections. But she's not going to shoot that poorly again. So, maybe we got her worst day over day one, and we were able to secure the win without her points. And also, my concern was playing this game without Montgomery. She has a pulled hamstring, and we made a decision that I don't think maybe she was better than 50-50, but she could have played and probably didn't have the first step that she needed to defend these guards.
Right.
And you run the risk of put her in at 50%, do we lose her for 2 more weeks where she's so close to being healed?
So
we
that's
just
why 24 played so
yes,
much.
yep. We made a decision to hold Dee out, let her get 110% healthy, and then we'll have her for the rest of the year.
And 24, of course she's a freshman, I realize that, but I did get a little nervous with her.
Yeah.
Out there today.
Yeah, she was definitely, freshman coming in her first college game.
Right.
She's a phenomenal shooter.
Oh.
Having to back up the point, tough day for her to have to do that. That would have been Dee's job.
Right.
And she's supposed to back up Meg at the 2. But, all in all, good experience for her.
So you think Dee might be next week or 2?
I'm hoping for Wednesday,
Right.
and we'll make the same decision. If she's not 100%, we won't go. But Dee has blossomed. Like M has blossomed all around as a player, especially defensively. Dee has blossomed in a lot of areas as well. She's a backup 1. She's a backup 3. Just spirit, defense. We had a scrimmage at Fairfield a couple of weeks ago, and all they could talk about was her on-ball defense, how she was that bothersome. So losing her in a game like today, we were afraid that we didn't have enough depth in the guard spot, but obviously we were able to secure the win.
Emily, she's just in the last year or so, just got switched where she takes a 3. She gets in the middle of the rebounds.
Yep.
On the floor.
I think she's naturally a rebounder. She's always been a good shooter, but she used to need time to get that shot off. And Em made a decision to get in the best shape of her life, get stronger. She did that, and now she's able to play defense and get her shot off extremely quick. And our strength coach, George Green, has been phenomenal in getting us to this point where we're stronger, quicker, and in better shape.
You look at one of the strengths of your team. Last year was a 3-point game. Judging by this game, the success there was really big. Do you think that that's going to be big further on down the line, as heavily as it was last year, or do you think that a lot of the players have filled in the other roles of the game, and it's just going to be another bonus to a good team?
Yeah, I think they'll be more balanced this year. I think that Shaq and Jazz, if they're having a good day, I think they're really going to be bothersome. I mean, they're both forces down low. We also have Millie coming off the bench that she makes clutch shots. She made one today. I was actually surprised she missed one today because she's just a clutch kid. That's how she plays. She'll be adding depth to that. Aisha, who's probably going to become one of our best defenders. She gives us depth. And Kim, who we didn't see today, another kid, we're waiting for her to be 100%. Big post player down low, a lot of finesse. So now we have 5 post players to rotate in 2 spots. And that's going to come into play. Someone's in foul trouble, we're not in panic mode, we have a lot of depth. So I think post depth will complement the 3-point shooting, so we'll have a better balanced attack this year.
Now you look on defense, BU was only able to get 3 3-pointers, and only 1 in the first 30 minutes. How big was that to neutralize their threat from outside?
It's huge. They're a very good team, extremely well coached, and their sets work. And Coach McCauley did a great job with a scout. We worked nonstop on blowing those sets up, and that was key because I think they weren't able to get into the flow. And I think if you take great shooters out in the first 10 minutes, you at least have the leg up on them at that point. And we were hoping that halftime didn't change things. We're hoping that we could come out and still contain them, and we did. So that was key.
Now, also defensively for BU, they were down by double digits multiple times, but then in the later part of the second half, they really tightened up and they really kept you guys from going in your flow. What adjustments did they make that really stood out to you as far as limiting your offensive opportunities?
Well, they did a good job switching back man to zone, which takes you just a couple of seconds to call a different set. So it's disruptive in the sense where our running game's going, and then we have to put the brakes on because they're already in a set zone, so now we got to run a zone hit. They did a good job mixing that up. We had the ball down low deep in the game. We were waiting to see what they were in. They were in zone, so we came out with a zone play. They switched to man, so we went to one of our better man sets. But that's just good coaching. You know, having to keep our kids, okay, here's the plan, oh, here's plan B. So they did a great job at that. But the counter is our girls did a good job, you know, resetting. And I think shot clock management needs to get better. I think we were waiting too long to get in our, 10-second calls. But, I mean, that's, if you take away that's your biggest problem in game one, I think you're okay.